Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hindu Explain series. I am Kushagra Goel and I hope all of you are keeping yourself in the best of health and taking care of all your loved ones also during the time. Even though the vaccine for COVID-19 is out, it doesn't mean that we have got the vaccine on individual basis. So it is paramount that all of you remain vigilant, wear your mask whenever you're going out, sanitize your hands and don't touch your dirty hands to your face or any respiratory organ. Okay, so take care of that. Now let's begin. There are multiple doubts, that so therefore I am using the assistance of the phone and will be going through them one by one. Okay, so one major doubt a lot of students had was with this one. GST, the IT department is also taking action as the direct tax implications for beneficiaries of fake invoices are much higher than the GST implication. This is telling us a differentiation between income tax and the GST. GST is an indirect taxation, income tax or other forms which are on your are direct taxation. So what this statement tells us is that the scope or faking your income is far more in direct taxes than it is in GST. Okay, so the tax department is being vigilant towards that also. Okay, another doubt students had, failure of this duty could trigger the compulsory licensing. So students had doubt in what is patent, what is license. See, patent is the authority or a recognition that this is your thing. Okay, for example, yesterday for I explained you that this pen, I devised the technology of how a pen could also write on a touchscreen phone. So the mechanism of that is something I have patented. But how do I manufacture this? Or who will manufacture this patent on my behalf? So maybe I know the technology of doing this, but I don't have the resources or the apparatus to actually manufacture it. Similarly, there are designers in companies and then there are actual manufacturing units. Those are different, right? Because people have different abilities. So patent is the authority recognition that you have got something. Licensing is the process through which this will actually be used. Okay, so sometimes companies have the patent and the license to manufacture it. So when there are big companies like any automobile company or pharmaceutical company, they have their research divisions who get the patent and then they have the manufacturing divisions. But in places where you don't have it, you also get licenses. So yesterday when we discussed about section 146 of the Patent Act, there was a condition that in case you have got a patent for 20 years, you have to use it in India, work on it in India for the benefit of the public. Now probably the person who has got a patent is from United States. So how will those things be beneficial to the public? Then for that person, either he has to establish his manufacturing or production unit in India, or he will license the product to any Indian company who will do it on their behalf. So when you license, you get a royalty fee out. Okay, so that is the distinction between patent and licensing. Okay, now what this statement means, failure of this duty could trigger compulsory licensing. So if someone does not comply with this, does not comply with form 27 and the condition there, is not working on the patent which they have got for 20 years, then compulsory licensing, the act will impose a duty for compulsory licensing to any company in India. So editorial yesterday told us about an anti-cancer drug that was compulsory licensed in India to an Indian company. Okay, so that is what this means. Now, in concurrent list, when it comes to dispute center decision triumph, so can someone living in UP? So see, whichever is a more specific law applies. Okay, whichever you are closer to authority. So I personally would be closer to the government of Rajasthan and then the central government. Okay, but in dispute between center and state, it is the center that triumphs. All these things are part or realm of constitutional interpretations. Okay, but you cannot use conflicting laws in the sense of applying one or the other. When the state has made a condition and you have to, or you have been asked to follow that, you can't bring in law of another state as a defense for you. Okay, so this is something that is in realm of interpretation as of now, because these are new laws. Okay, so concretely answering this for you is not within my capacity. We'll have to wait. Another follow up doubt from this was that because it is still an ordinance, why are people being punished for violation of it, or because it has not been approved by the assembly, why is it being implemented? See, the reason why ordinances are supposed to be exceptional is because they have the same authority as a law passed by the assembly or the parliament, okay, but they have a timeline. So if the assembly does not approve this ordinance, then it will lapse. So after the timeline of the ordinance lapses, then it is not in force, or it cannot be implemented anymore, or people cannot be sued for its violation, okay. Then another doubt students had was with fiscal policy and fiscal deficit. See, policy is, for example, Law Prep tutorial has a policy of making or treating everyone equally, or believing in equal work, equal pay, okay. So that is a policy. Fiscal deficit would be that we are generating less resources than our expenditure, okay. So you get it, these are different terms, okay. They are not complementary, they are aspects of the fiscal policy, in the sense that within fiscal policy will determine whether we will have a fiscal deficit or a fiscal surplus, okay. Then another doubt that students had, see, with regards to, after this, now there is one general doubt that students have is this, that about the Brexit deal. So see, details about Brexit are still coming in. As of now, the Brexit means United Kingdom has left the European Union. So when we had talked about Brexit in the last week of December, I told you a little bit of history of European Union. The meaning of Brexit is United Kingdom has left European Union. The privileges that you, for example, consider it as part of a family. So you have a family of 5 people, one person decides to leave the family. So when they decide to leave the family, there will be some different treatment that they will be meted out when they were part of the family, or members of the family will be treated differently, and then someone outside of the family, right? So that distinction is what Brexit is all about. Those details about how differently you will be treated now is something that is still in the works. Once those details are out, we will discuss them. These are more technical details about trade and all. So don't worry about it. Understand the crux, which is this, that you were part of a family, you have left it. So the history of the family is something we have already discussed, and I suggest you go back and check it out, okay. So now let's move on with today's video. So the farmer conversation between the government and the farmers was not fruitful and not conclusive. No result came out, and biggest COVID-19 vaccination program is set to begin, as announced by the Prime Minister, that once now that emergency use has been given, we will move towards the largest vaccination drive in the entire world, okay. Then on the left hand side there is update about the Ayodhya temple. The work on it hasn't begun because it has been found that up to 200 feet the sand there is sand there, and so you cannot build any heavy structure on sand, okay. So that is a distinction. On the left hand side there is a cattle rules 2017, okay, which have been in news by a Supreme Court judgment yesterday. So what are these cattle rules? In cattle rules, as per these cattle rules, what could happen? So let's say I have multiple cows, or I am a milkman, okay, and then someone complains that I am not treating my cow properly. What will happen because of these cattle rules? My cows will be taken away, put in a Gaushala, and then I will not have either the cows, on the pretext that I had treated them cruelly, okay. But the distinction, now the Supreme Court has stated that livestock and pet animals are different. Livestock is a property, it is something of an economic gain, okay. So it is something through which I earn my money. Now the fact that on mere pretext, in the sense that the offence has not been proven and yet I am being deprived of my property, that is something that is unlawful and cannot be permitted. So the Supreme Court has stated, either you stay this law, either you repeal this rule, or we will stay the law, okay. So that is what this means. Then apart from that, there is not much update here for us. there have been rains in Delhi and in around region, and farmers have still maintained support to the agitation. Then two new centers have been established at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. What are these two centers? There are schools, uh, School of Engineering and Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship. So these are two different. So for example, when a school starts teaching a new subject, so schools within a university are different subject areas or professional courses that are now being offered. So two new have been announced. Okay, then Chandni Chowk region has been given a revamp. If any one of you ever had a chance to visit the region, you would realize that now it looks very different in what it is shown in the picture. The area had become really crowded because of motor vehicles, and now it has been converted into a non-motorized area. And on 26 January, the mural for Republic Day parade will showcase this redevelopment plan and regional harmony, because this stretch of road features two temples, a Gurudwara, a church and a mosque. So if you have ever visited the Red Fort, you can see the temple right in front from the Lahori Gate, which is the entrance from where the Prime Minister have spoken since India gained independence. It's a beautiful now scene from the Lahori Gate. If you have ever got a chance, I suggest, if you haven't, this is one place of India's heritage that all of us should visit once. Okay, then moving on, apart from that, here schools have been opened at different places. Here is another news that is something that becomes really relevant from wildlife conservation. So pangolins are poached. They are a mammal who are poached for their shells, considered to be lucrative in China, and so they are now facing the threat of extinction in the wild. Okay, because of these shells are considered to be something good for Chinese and are illegally smuggled. So spread awareness about this. Do not support consumption of wild animal produce, because see, we are humans, are part of this planet and not a species that is godlike to dominate every species. Someone who is living peacefully without harming you, you cannot consume them just because you feel it is correct in your right or you have the money to pay for it. Okay, so spread awareness wherever about these things. There is no scientific evidence of pangolin being any way helpful to the community or human in any manner. Okay, then moving on the editorial front. Okay, so the main editorial is about recognizing the monetary value of household work. Okay, I will discuss this in a little bit more depth. Okay, then on the left hand side, black and grey, again with about Pakistan's actions just before the FATF meeting, something we talked about yesterday, how it is part of them gimmicks basically, that just before the FATF meet they will do something and then after that they will forget about it or revoke those actions. So this is something that India is also skeptical of and has raised concern yesterday only in their statement, and the editorial tells the same thing. Okay, one clarification that I will tell you, that one question was there about LET leaders. See, there are multiple leaders of the Lashkar-e-Taiba terror organization. Okay, their political wing is known as Jamaat-ud-Dawa. Those are two names that you may remember. There are multiple leaders. People who are arrested is something that you can make a note of. Okay, so Zaki-ur-Rahman Lakhvi has been arrested recently, who has been linked to the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. Okay, then maximum governor should not exceed constitutional duties to serve as agents of the center. So this is about the controversy between governors not calling the session of assembly when the chief ministers ask them to. So it is not, as per the constitutional judgments, not in the purview of the governor's discretion to reject a request for assembly. If the CM and the Council of Ministers of the state have asked for a assembly session, the governor is not at a discretion to question them for its plausibility or why it is being called. Recently it has been seen that governors of states which are ruled by political party who are not of the same that governs the center, governors there have questioned the authority of the chief minister and the council of ministers to call upon a assembly session. Okay, so that is something that is not in the purview of the governor discretion. Governor office is a constitutional post and not a bipartisan post, in the sense that you are not an agent of the central government who appoints you. Okay, but that is something multiple times in editorials we have talked about, and how governors do act in a partisan manner. Okay. Then on the left hand side, the second one is about urban employment. Okay. So in rural areas, you are guaranteed 100 days of compulsory work under the NREGA. But in urban areas, no such scheme is there. And India is facing huge amount of unemployment, and most of it is also in the urban areas. So to address that, there are certain things that are suggested: a urban employment guarantee scheme, or something, a new policy that is to be along with the gig economy. So what is gig economy? Gig economies are people who, for example, work for Ola, Swiggy, Zomato, or any such apps, right? Delivery apps, Amazon, Flipkart. They are not permanent employees there. They are part of supply services or related activities, but not on permanent payroll. The number of hours they put in, they are paid for that much. Okay. So in that sense, they are called as gig economy, and the government does not have any data of this gig economy. The editorial is divided in two parts. One, it says that collection of this data is important to realize what is the scale of gig economy and how it can be addressed or provide social security to these people. And secondly, how it can be done by building up relationship between the government and these companies who provide employment in the gig economy. So one suggestion of it has been through the Prime Minister's street vendor Atmanirbhar Nidhi scheme, or PM Swan Nidhi. Okay, under which you people who are street vendors can register themselves, and then they will be provided social security support. Okay, so that is some scheme. For example, other side, Swiggy as a company has registered street vendors and will provide access to them to reach out to more customers. So that is how new companies, new kinds of jobs can be in sync with the government and provide employment to the urban unemployed. Okay, so it's a suggestion there. Then on the left and right side of the op-ed are two editorials about the vaccines. The left one is about the care of those who are part of the vaccine trial. So recently there was one news when someone reported adverse effects after taking a shot of the vaccine. Serum Institute instituted a suit of 100 crore rupees for damages against that individual. Now what that does is that, see, to test the efficacy of a vaccine or anything, you need volunteers who would become part of the trial or experiment. Okay, a vaccine is an experiment before it is finally approved, and it is these volunteers who put their life on the line for us to get these vaccines. So this editorial talks about how giving support and recognizing the risks these people take and not suppressing their concerns is what matter is beneficial, not just for future vaccine development, but for a more holistic vaccine development in general. Okay, so that is the theme of this editorial. Then on the left hand side, hasty approval to transparency. So this is about Covaxin being approved without giving data of efficacy or other details about these. Similarly for the Covishield vaccine by the Serum Institute. So that how they have not conducted phase 3 trials, how they have not provided scientific peer review, detail out their process of how they arrived at the vaccine, what were the methodology, were there any adverse events, all of that has not been disclosed. Something that was done in US and United Kingdom where the vaccines have been approved. The reason why this opacity is being questioned is because this has brought us under the same bracket of Russia and China. Russia and China have also approved vaccines, not provided any scientific details about their vaccines, their efficacy, their source, got it peer reviewed, no public disclosure of any of that information. And that is what this editorial is talking about and has been the news of why we have been hasty, because these details are something they are collecting, and having waited for a couple of more weeks would have got us all that data that we needed to reassure everyone. And because this efficacy data and details are not yet out, the trust deficit with regards to the vaccines efficiency is something that can be not trusted by public at large. Okay, then this editorial is talking about embracing energy efficiency, that is to have more and more appliances in your household or everywhere which are energy efficient. So we keep seeing, if you have, I'm sure all of you also have appliances which have the energy star rating, that 5-star rated, 4-star rated energy efficiency. What this tells us, that there are still most of the other appliances that are not energy efficient, in the sense that ceiling fans that we use, or desert coolers that are there in the northern part, televisions that are there, are not yet energy efficient. We need to replace our old with more energy efficient appliances to reduce our overall energy consumption and carbon footprint, and also reduce the burden on discoms who provide electricity. Okay, then the data point talks about how the number of density of CCTV cameras in urban areas in different cities of the world, with Chennai being the most number of CCTV cameras per square kilometer. Okay, but what it also tells us, that there is no correlation direct between number of CCTVs and reduction in crime. Okay, then moving on the other front, there is see, every day there are more and more details coming about of these loan applications that give you loans and then take away your data, ask you for more repayment. So be vigilant about them, read more and more about them. Also, there is bird flu spreading in most parts of the world, avian flu in Rajasthan. Also, number of cases has been reported in different districts. Okay, and similarly in Kerala. So details about the bird flu that has been found: H5N8 subtype of influenza A virus reported in ducks, and in hens H7N2 virus designates influenza subtype. So these are details about influenza, bird flu and avian flu in uh, ducks, other birds. This can spread from water bodies or sitting on dump sites that we human create, which can cause, on which birds can then feed on, and the disease may spread in them. Okay, so this is the details about how it has spread has not yet been out. Okay, then we'll move on. There is one more update from the international front that becomes relevant for us, that today will be the day that will mark India's re-entry to the non-permanent seat of the Security Council. So I will be talking about this in a little bit more depth. Okay, then on the international front, apart from that, there is US politics, Georgia runoff elections, and Donald Trump asking officials to force find them, or more details about voter fraud, something that has not been found. Update from China of how it is starting mass vaccination drive in its country before the Chinese New Year. This is something from where the virus had spread to most parts of the China. Okay, and then there is also update about how Jack Ma, the head of Alibaba Group, has been missing ever since he spoke against the Chinese government's policies in Shanghai at a summit. Okay, we had talked about this summit, and since then he has not been seen in public sight, which is raising whether he has been caught by the Chinese authorities or is laying low. Okay, apart from that, on the economic front, there is not much update. Same on the sporting front. Okay, thankfully Saurav Ganguly, our BCCI president and former captain's health has stabilized. So we hope for his swift recovery. So I will now move on. Okay, so India will begin its 2-year stint as non-permanent member of the Security Council. Why does it matter? Because decisions of the United Nations Security Council are binding on all the members of the United Nations organization. Okay, so the Security Council has 5 permanent members: United States, China, Russia, United Kingdom and France, and India will enter this for the 8th time. Okay, along with India, there are 4 other countries who will become new members of the Security Council, who are Ireland, Kenya, Mexico and Norway. The last time India was part of the UNSC was 2011-12. Okay, and T.S. Tirumurti is the UN permanent representative of India when this our tenure as the member of the UNSC has begun. Okay, so these are details that you need to know, that decisions or resolutions of the UNSC are binding. That means that if it is like a law, that you have to follow it, okay. And what was the last time India was? There are 7 times previously that India was a member of the UNSC. This is our 8th time, okay. And there are 4 other countries. There are 10 non-permanent members of the UNSC, okay. Now moving on to the main editorial, okay. So the main editorial highlights a problem. What is this problem? That for household work that ladies do or anyone does in the house, it is not one paid for. uh, any household work that you do, if you ask a maid or get a maid to do it, you will pay her, right? But if it is your mother or any household person, then it is supposed to be, it is thought by us that this is something that we have to do without getting paid. And secondly, another concern is that this work which creates the apparatus through which, for example, a man can go and earn for 8 hours, 16 hours of the day and come back home and relax himself because there is someone taking care of the house, of the children, and yet all of this is not counted in the GDP. So the work that is done by most of the housewives or house husbands in houses is not part of the GDP. Why is it in highlight? Is because Kamal Hassan's political party in Tamil Nadu for assembly elections have stated that they will pay the women who are household or housewives, okay. So they have made a pitch that once if they are voted to power, they will pay them, pay housewives for the household work. This is to recognize their economic contribution. So rather than talking about the politics, whether this is something better or not, this editorial is telling us of what this concern is about. So this is a problem that without the household work that is happening, so many things would be in disarray. The reason why it is stated it is a problem is because this kind of structure creates two problems. One, it creates a patriarchal mindset in the sense that it is then becomes inherent to humans that it is always the woman who has to do all this work. And secondly, what it also does is it creates the abusive market structure or working hours of capitalism. Because there is someone at home who is doing all the work, a man who works for 14 to 15 hours in a capitalist market space, for example, if you work at a law firm, if you are a lawyer, or if you are part of any of these new activities, gig economy, any of that, then you don't have any fixed working hours. The reason why you can one support sustain such kind of work life is because you know that there is someone doing the other work at home without you incurring any extra cost. Third reason for this is that it the in strengthening of how it makes a patriarchal society is because it makes the woman who does so much household work dependent on the man for any of her real economic needs. So if the woman actually needs something for the house, despite she putting so many hours, now count the number of hours you have to do, let's say for laundry, utensils, house cleaning. If all of that you had to get a maid for it, you would incur some cost, but by household work you're not. So despite the woman doing that much work, she is not able to have any economic resources, and that is the larger debate what this editorial is talking about and tells us what could be the implications. So I suggest on a general footing, all of you should give this a read. If there are any specific statements within this that you do not understand, put it in the comment section and I will be very happy to address all of them, okay. On that front, I will sign off for the day. If you have any other doubts with what we have discussed today or any other related doubts, feel free to put them in the comment section. I will be happy to address all of them. On that note, thank you so much for the day. Take care of yourself. Be consistent with your preparation. And if you like the work that we are doing, give this video a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to it. Thank you.